Hey there guys, John Campy here, and thanks for visiting my movie vlog. Of course, yesterday, big news got dropped that Warner Brothers is looking at developing a standalone, outside of the DCEU, standalone Elseworlds kind of origin story of the Joker being produced by none other than one of the greatest filmmakers of all time, Martin Scorsese. Now, there's been a lot of debate and discussion going on about that announcement in the news over the past 24 hours, but I thought it might be time for us to start looking ahead. Should this actually get into production and move forward, who should play the Joker? Now, we already know a couple things. Number one, it won't be Jared Leto. Jared Leto is supposed to be the Joker in the DCEU, but remember, this movie isn't going to be connected to the DCEU. It's also going to be set in the early 80s in the younger career of the Joker, so they're looking for somebody a little bit younger to play the role. So anyway, with all that knowledge gathered up in one place, I put together what I would consider my top 5 picks to play the Joker. One or two names on here might surprise you. One or two names on here you'll probably be expecting, so let's jump into it. At number 5, Alexander Ludwig. Now, you might remember him as that cute little dude Seth in Race to Witch Mountain with The Rock. Well, he ain't that cute little dude Seth anymore. He is now a big monster of a man. He plays Bjorn Lothbrok in the show Vikings, and he has really grown in that role, not just physically, but in his talent as well. Look, when we're looking at somebody to play the Joker, we want somebody who can bring a strong screen presence and have an intensity about them. I believe this guy fits that bill perfectly. If you've ever watched Vikings, you know the type of intensity that he can bring to the screen. He's loaded with talent. He's on the younger end of the scale, but I think that works to his advantage. Also, the one thing that he brings to the table that we've never had in a Joker, and in every incarnation of the Joker, each filmmaker likes to put their own little fingerprint on it. What is unique about this Joker from the last? The one unique aspect that he would bring to the role is physical intimidation. He's a big dude. Traditionally, that's not what we look for in a Joker. For them to have somebody who's got some physical intimidation, some size and some muscle to him, that would be unique. That would be a unique factor in this Joker that we've never had before, and that could work in his favor. At number 4, Paul Dano. If not the, then at least one of the most talented actors in the world not to be considered an A-list headliner. Dano's been in a lot of movies. A lot of people first took notice of him in Little Miss Sunshine, and then the world took notice of him when he starred opposite Daniel Day-Lewis in There Will Be Blood. One of the reasons that Daniel Day-Lewis's performance in There Will Be Blood is considered maybe one of the best single performances in the past 30 years is also because he was playing off an incredibly strong actor in Paul Dano. Dano went pace for pace with Daniel Day-Lewis in that movie, and how many people on the planet can save that? Then he turned in what some people thought should be an Academy Award level performance in Love and Mercy when he was just absolutely insanely good. And then he pops up in that indie film that everybody talked about, Swiss Army Man, in which was just another incredible performance by him. Dano brings those intangibles we talked about, the screen presence, the intensity, and a huge range of acting talent. He's one of the most talented guys in the business. Paul Dano comes in at number 4 for me. At number 3, I'm going to break my own rules here about the age and needing to get somebody younger, but this is the one guy who you can legitimately say may have been born to play the Joker, and that's Crispin Glover. Now, of course, George McFly, everybody's favorite time-traveling dad sort of thing with Marty and all that kind of stuff. George is a natural psychopath. Crispin Glover, I've talked with Crispin Glover before. I've sat down in a room and talked with him, and he is as loose change as it gets, man. This guy has got a genius psychopath somewhere inside of him. He's just a nut bar. And then we saw him play that in Charlie's Angels, and now he's playing Mr. World in American Gods, and people are loving him in that role. Again, like I said, one of the few people in the world you could legitimately say, this guy was born to play the Joker. My number 2 pick to play the Joker, Ben Foster. I was mentioning that Paul Dano might be one of the most talented actors in the world not to be an A-list headliner. Right alongside him, maybe even above him, possibly, would be Ben Foster. Ben Foster, everybody just saw him and took a lot of notice of him, of course, in Hell or High Water last year, starring with Chris Pine. He was absolutely insanely good in that role, but that's par for the course with Ben Foster. Ben Foster brings those eyes, that intensity, that talent talent depth to every single movie he's in, no matter what the movie is. I mean, how many actors on this planet can say that they were in a movie with Christian Bale and Russell Crowe and he upstaged both of them? That's what Ben Foster did in 3:10 to Yuma. An incredible performance. If this guy wanted to bring it as a younger-ish Joker, it would be insanely good. And my number one pick to play this era's Joker, this Scorsese Joker, is a guy I've only really become a big fan of in the last couple of years, and that's Will Poulter. Now, we all kind of started seeing Will Poulter when he was in We're the Millers. He was hilarious in that. Then he comes up in The Revenant. We're all like, wow, this kid's got acting chops. And now he's in the new film Detroit, in which, honestly, don't be surprised to see his name mentioned at the Academy Awards this year for Best Supporting Actor. A nomination, possibly a win. He's that good in Detroit. And when you look at it again, we're talking about the intensity of the eyes, the screen presence that he can bend, the way he can command a camera. Will Poulter's the man. I mean, there's a number of guys out there you could play the Joker and I'd be happy with, but you announce Will Poulter, he would be my number one choice to play Scorsese's Joker. He's just that good. So again, my top 5, Alexander Ludwig, Paul Dano, Crispin Glover, Ben Foster, and Will Poulter. Now, one name I really considered putting on this list, but I decided he's already in too many big-name franchises, is Adam Driver. Think about it. Adam Driver would make a hell of a Scorsese Joker, but I just thought with him already being involved in the Harry Potter universe, and he's already involved in the Star Wars universe, I thought he might be big franchised out a little bit, so I decided not to put him on the list, but he is one name to keep in mind. So there you have it, guys. There's my list of the 5 actors I would like to see play the Joker. What do you think of the list? Do you like all the names? Do you like some of the names? Would your list look completely different? Jump into the comments section below and leave me your thoughts. Hey, listen, guys, if you're one of the people who enjoys my 70 to 90 videos I produce every single month, consider becoming one of my Patreon supporters. Just check in the link below or check this graphic right here. Also, make sure you click on the subscribe button, become a subscriber to my YouTube channel, being kept up to date on everything that I got going on here. And of course, make sure you're following me on Twitter at John Campea. That'll do it for me, guys. Thanks a lot for joining me, and until next time, bye-bye.